God, I don't know what they were smoking when they wrote this movie, but oh man, I want some of that.
Cocaine.
All right, greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. I am your host, Chris, and we are here to talk about entertainment. We talk about culture. We talk about whatever the hell we feel like. And I'm here with my wonderful co-hosts. As always, I have James over here. How you doing, James?
Test your might. Doing pretty well.
Good. I've had that in my head all week, just like nonstop. Also with us today, Keith. How you doing, Keith?
And just remember, the best flavor of Kool-Aid is red. The answer is red.
I'm partial of
Did you think of did you guys ever have like Little League Baseball where they got the orange drink? It didn't really even have a flavor.
Yeah, and it kind of burned the back of your throat if you drank.
Yeah, that stuff was so nasty. They're like, you want some orange drink? I'm like, well, what flavor is it? It's orange.
It's orange.
Orange. Not the fruit orange. The color.
No, the color orange. Also with us today is Brooksy. How are you doing, Brooksy?
Great. Representing Wonder Woman today.
Oh, she's going out and getting geek merch. Oh my God. It's a full shirt.
I'm nerd adjacent. Thank you.
Yeah. This is the Snyderverse Wonder Woman, too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's a good Wonder Woman. I'm okay with it, except for her murder spree.
She was
all right. And last but not least, coming on a camera I can't see, it's Mike. How you doing, Mike? I can't see you.
Hey, I'm okay. And let me just say, as a Guyanese man, I try not to drink Kool-Aid. So
that Kool-Aid was definitely red.
Right.
Any place
Mike,
James
Sorry, go
I
on.
was going to say, don't drink Kool-Aid in Jamestown.
Okay, I want Jamestown flavor.
Mike, I feel like you could be a stand-up comedian. Your delivery, like, just straight face the whole time.
Dry.
Yeah.
He'd kill in Britain.
Well, if we didn't have a pandemic, maybe I'd do some open mics. You never know.
Never know.
Is that a pun or was that not a pun? I gotta gauge your comedy level.
Oh, it wasn't meant to be, but I'll take it.
All right. So tonight's podcast, we've got three things on the menu. First, Mike and James are going to go over the Oscars, some of the Oscar winners, some of the Oscar snubs. Then we're going to talk a little bit about The Nevers on HBO. And finally, we are going to talk Mortal Kombat, but not just the 2021 one. We're going to re-review the 1995 original movie and see how well that holds up. In our new segment, Does It Hold Up? So what we're going to be talking about now is the Oscars. And I'm going to hand that over to James and Mike for their favorite segment.
Oh. Before we get to the announcements of who won and what, when, and where, I think I just want to give my overall impression first. I watched it for the first time, not at home. I was in a hotel. And
you and 50% of less people than last year.
Yes. And seeing it on the West Coast this year, where it's still sunny like you normally would see it on TV, was kind of odd. But what I noticed was the fact that it was supposed to be like a hybrid, like Zoom and in-person event. It seemed like it was mostly in person. And they mixed up the award announcements this year. They did instead of usually ending with Best Picture, this year they gave us Best Picture before they gave us Best Actor and Best Actress, which led me to believe, because the last award was Best Actor, was going to be Chadwick Boseman. And unfortunately, it was not Chadwick Boseman. Spoiler alert. So I don't know if they rearranged how they announced the final awards that way for any particular reason other than to let people know that Chadwick was not going to win the award, although he was odds-on favorite. But other than that, I think, I realized that they didn't do as well as they did last year, which was in the height of the pandemic. But I think something, and I think Keith might have mentioned this many moons ago, is these award ceremonies are starting to become really dry and really tough to digest in any platform, whether it's online streaming or the old shows they used to have with the big stage. There's countless of reasons. One is the technology, because we're still having people glitching. They're watching it, and then the second part is the awards themselves and who are winning them. Almost every one of these are controversial. Almost every one of those is controversial. There's a lot of women that won this year, a lot of women of color that won as well. So it looks like the Oscars themselves are being more progressive. But as far as the actual talent, it seemed like there was just, there was controversy on who got snubbed and who won over who should have won in some people's minds. So it puts the Oscars in a tough stance moving forward next year when we return back to some sort of normalcy.
Doesn't that happen every year, though? Doesn't everybody complain that X?
Yeah, the previous years it was two things: the host was terrible, and the right movie didn't win. Those were the pre-pandemic. Then became Oscars are so white a couple years ago, and then it became technology of last year and all this other stuff. And then now it just seems like it's just falling apart at the seams. So that was my first impressions. Mike, what about yours? I know we were texting each other while we were watching it.
Yeah, I had the same thing. It was like weird doing it at the train station there, instead of the theater. And then, half of the people there and half remote. Overall, it was just pretty boring, to watch. There was really nobody hosted, so there was really no entertainment. Questlove was fine as the DJ and kind of guiding it through the night, But other than that, and there were a couple of highlights for me, but other than that, just pretty boring ceremonies altogether.
So what? Brooks raised her hand for a second. I don't know if she was going to chime in.
Oh, I was just going to ask who the host was, but then Mike said there was no host.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the entertainment value if there's no host? What? How do they handle?
They have
literally just walk up
guests. They just have guests come out and say
announce
a couple things.
Yeah, there's different moments you could tell as a transition that has to be made from one group of awards to another. Like there was the deaf lady who was signing because they were doing an awards recognition for a deaf director, or I forgot who the person was. So that made kind of sense. But then later on, there was that random little joke. I forgot who the comedian was that came around. He was doing his little bit that to me didn't land.
Which one? The guess the song thing?
Yes, guess the song. Glenn Close is the only part that was funny.
Yeah, that was the best part of it. But other than that, I think that kind of fell flat. But when Glenn Close knew the butt,
doing the butt and the movie that it was featured in,
and that it didn't get.
You didn't know what high school that the video was filmed in. She didn't know that.
And she stood up and started doing the dance. That was how great was that, right?
Yeah.
So
probably the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Grammys have an up is that they can have performances like these little tidbit 2 to 4 minute performances that draw people in through the night. I don't know.
Usually at the Oscars they'll have a comedian as a host who'll do skits of the best pictures, and you'll have the artists who are nominated for best song perform their song through the night, right? Mm-hmm. So you have 5 performances there at least. But I don't remember any of that. So
see, I think they need to do more pre-made stuff. So almost like a Saturday Night Live, where you get these A+ talents to do more of that stuff throughout. So if you're not going something to showcase the people that you're trying to give awards to, that are that's the entertainment for the people, not watching them get awards. Nobody really actually, most people don't care to watch the award itself. They want to see the fun stuff. They want to see.
And sometimes I want to hear the speech. I want to see someone's going to go, off script and do something crazy, maybe political stuff like that is cool.
Some of the speeches were okay, I guess. And then like Daniel Kaluuya's speech was great when he talked about
his parents doing it.
You're right. And
his parents having sex. And then you see, and then shout out to the whoever the camera producer was, because they at the same time they're showing his mom listening to what he was saying and her facial reaction, like, what did he just say?
Yeah, right.
That was cool. Great, give that guy an Oscar.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing I really want to get into is the awards themselves. I'm going to read from least importance to the most important awards, reverse order. So
Okay.
sound like for writing, best original screenplay, Promising Young Women won. It beat out Minari and Judas and the Black Messiah, as well as a Trial of Chicago 7. Best adapted screenplay went to The Father, which we'll get into later with the big award. It's a movie that had Anthony Hopkins in it. It beat One Night in Miami, which I was shocked. I was really shocked that it beat One Night in Miami. For best visual effects, this is where us Heroes Peak nerds will appreciate this. It went to Tenet. Tenet, the movie that some of us lambasted with the audio.
I mean, it had good effects.
Yeah, you can't argue with the effects.
I can say the same thing about Rise of Skywalker, and
right.
It's true. The only movie that I know that's in the awards that it beat out was Mulan, which is kind of shocking for Mulan being that high. Nominated, let's just say nominated for visual effects.
I think what Mulan would be is more like everything felt really grounded, so you didn't the effects weren't sticking out. You know what I mean? Like when you were watching it, it's one of those movies where the effects just enhance the locations as opposed to transport or change.
Yeah, I guess because women turn into birds every day, right?
Yeah, very natural.
I mean, it happens here all the time.
Best sound went to, no surprising here, and I was watching this with Serena, and we had jokes for days. Sound of Metal, a movie about sound, won the Oscars for sound. Very good.
How convenient.
Now we get to the mashed potatoes of this stuff. Best Picture. So I'm going to read in reverse order, and then the last one would be the actual winner. Trial of Chicago 7 was nominated. Sound of Metal was also nominated. Promising Young Woman, a movie that I need to see, I heard it was really good, was nominated. Minari, which I think, Mike, you said you've seen already?
I saw it, last night, and it is actually really, really good. So,
all right, they're nominated. Mank, which we just talked about, Gary Oldman, was nominated. Judas and the Black Messiah, which I still haven't seen yet. I'm hearing it's good. Was also a nominated movie.
Great movie. You should see it.
Really? What would you give it? Quick grade.
An A.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
The Father with Anthony Hopkins was nominated. And then the eventual winner was Nomadland, starring Frances McDormand. And the director, Chloe Zhao. Zhao.
And which means Chloe Zhao is now a Oscar-winning director going into a Marvel movie, The Eternals.
The Eternals. Yes.
So, the end of this year, right?
Yeah. Best music original song. It's a couple of songs that none of them I recognize other than the one from One Night in Miami that didn't win, unfortunately. It went to Fight for You, the song that was featured in Judas and Black Messiah, created by the artist Her, Her.
Oh, she's pretty good.
Yeah, so they won that award. Best original score went to Soul, a movie that we all did see, and we talked about it on a podcast. International film went to Another Round. That was a great win for me because I love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
One of the few foreign movies in the last, 10 years that I've watched and really, really love. And I'm still recommending it to not just Heroes Peak, but all of our subscribers. And
I'm just a fan listeners. Of Mads Mikkelsen in general, right? Like he was a great.
He's so good. I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah. Like he can play the good guy or the bad guy. Like in this one, he was kind of both. So
yeah, I just watched Chaos. I just watched him in Chaos Walking, and I was surprised.
Mm-hmm.
He's good.
And I'm a fan of Social Drinking too. Great movie about that.
Cheers.
So let me fast forward documentary because this stuff is no one really cares. Best director. I'm sorry if anyone who's watching it that cares about documentary features. Best director went to the director of Nomadland.
You can actually text James for that complaint.
Yeah.
Don't comment.
Chloe Zhao won Best Director. Nomadland.
Nice.
And then we get to Soul won for Best Animated Feature Film. It beat out Onward, Over the Moon, a Shaun the Sheep movie. Eric still loves that stuff. And Wolfwalkers. Best Supporting Actress went to Yoo Jong-yoon. She played in the movie Minari.
She was the grandma in this movie, and she is amazing.
I saw her in the trailer. She was great.
She's
Funny.
amazing, and her speech was funny too. All right, so we're on to Best Actress.
Best Actress, which was Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
And honestly, maybe I have a little Meryl Streep bias, but I'm getting tired of seeing this woman win all of these awards for these weird character roles.
So if it's like if Meryl didn't do a movie and Frances did, Frances will get it, and if Frances doesn't do it and Meryl does it, it'll go to Meryl.
Turning into a soap opera like Erica Kane and her rival. This is like
they probably
ridiculous.
call each other in January and go, "Are you making a movie this year?" No. Okay, cool.
Right. So this is my year.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Props to her though. She is a great actress, so I'm not gonna knock her.
That's the hard part is you get these generational actors or actresses, and yeah, they win a lot of awards because they. And maybe at some point they should be like, okay, Academy, I've gotten 3. You can really just leave me out of this one. But I don't think egos will allow that. If you're the best at something, is your ego not equally kind of large?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a performance artist, right? So.
Right.
I mean,
I'm
not saying she's a bad actress. She definitely deserves her awards, but I'm getting a little tired of seeing her name. Best Actor, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah.
Best Supporting Actor?
Right? Supporting Actor, wasn't it?
No, sorry, Best Supporting Actor. Correct. Yeah. Thank you. He beat out Sacha Baron Cohen for Trial of Chicago 7. He beat out Leslie Odom for One Night in Miami, which was a great role and great movie. Still recommend that. And then Best Actor in a Leading Role. The last award for the evening went to Anthony Hopkins, who beat out. But look at the gauntlet of people he beat out. Steven Yeun in Minari, the movie I didn't see that Mike, you could attest to. I only know him from The Walking Dead. I don't know how good of an actor he is.
Well, he's the main voice in the Invincible animated show, right?
Yes, that I knew as well.
And by the way, his performance in this movie was amazing too. Mm-hmm. So he's got a bright future ahead of him here with this role. So
yeah, Oscar nominated for sure.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman, who, from what I'm hearing from all the press before this, that he did a superb role, and to the point where he was acting someone who was technically 20 or 30 years younger than him. But that's the writer, the guy who wrote Citizen Kane, technically was like 20 or 30 years younger than Gary Oldman is now. So it wasn't just the makeup; it was the fact that he, method acting of being that young was surprising. He beat out Riz Ahmed in The Sound of Metal. Which I didn't see, but I'm hearing some positive reviews about that. And then lastly, he beat out Chadwick Boseman in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which I did not see, but I heard it was a tremendous role. It was his last role before he passed, which, again, he was the odds-on favorite in Vegas on winning this award. But it went to Anthony Hopkins for the movie The Father. I think Hopkins played as a man suffering dementia.
And this is where you get the difference. Like, they don't know who's going to win. So when they're like, okay, we think Chadwick Boseman is going to win, we're going to make this big special, big ending to our show. So we're going to shift this to the end of the show. And then I'm sure all the producers are backstage going, shit.
What? Yeah, when they cut to Questlove after that, like, you can tell that he was like...
Hang on, guys. Here was the problem with what they did. The planning of that was fine. The execution went off terribly because you had Joaquin Phoenix, who gets up on stage and says 2 words and then stands there for 60 seconds looking like a fool, because he's like an introvert when he's not acting, right? He doesn't like to talk.
Yeah.
So he gets up on stage and goes, "Hi, thanks," and then he just stands there. He was doing the presentation, and then Anthony Hopkins won, and Anthony Hopkins wasn't even there. So you had Joaquin Phoenix trying to accept an award for him. Joaquin said, "I accept this. Thanks. Good night." So they didn't know what to do, because Anthony, if he was there, he would have gave a speech. I'm sure he would have gave a shout out to Chadwick. He would have done a good thing there, and they would have cut over to Questlove, and that would have been it.
So I heard today that Anthony Hopkins wanted to zoom in, and they wouldn't let him.
And so what happened was they needed him to go to a location, and he wasn't comfortable because of COVID to go to the location to do the streaming.
Oh, that part I didn't hear.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just let him zoom in from his house?
I don't think he has access.
I don't know. He released a video today,
Mhm.
where it was only like 30 seconds long. He thanked them. He nodded to Chadwick Boseman and said, "Thank you. I didn't expect this."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So,
But that's your Academy Awards, ladies and gentlemen.
mhm.
And again, like I started by saying, I don't know where they're going to go from here because there's a lot of issues with these awards. Particularly this one is the biggest. Who knows how the format's going to be next year? If they're going to have hosts that are dedicated to the show.
hope so.
You can say on the plus, there's a lot of inclusion and diversity winners this year, but you know, in other cases, there's still the issue with whether the best movie or best person won. That stuff has been around for a while. And they got to make it some entertaining. Like,
well, you got to remember too. Last year, nobody went to the movies, right?
yeah.
So, and I didn't see any of these nominees. You know, sadly.
Yeah.
So, I will.
I can't wait.
But
I can't wait for next year when it's Godzilla versus Kong.
Snyder Cut,
Snyder Cut
for best visual effects.
Mortal Kombat,
Mortal Kombat for best acting.
Yeah.
The Knicks championship parade for best sound effects.
All right, everybody. We will be back in a minute. We're going to talk The Nevers on HBO. Come back with us. Thanks. All right, everybody. We are back, and we're here to talk about the 2021 television series on HBO Max called The Nevers. Miss Brooks here is going to give us the synopsis of this television series, written and directed by one Joss Whedon, getting his name back in the news. Go ahead, Brooks. What's this thing about?
All right, so IMDb says an epic tale following a gang of Victorian women who find themselves with unusual abilities, relentless enemies, and a mission that might change the world. I also want to say that it's not just the women that have the abilities, men have abilities as well. And they don't call them abilities, they call them turns. So the people that have turns, they're called touched. So anybody that has these like special abilities, they're called the touched.
Or the afflicted, or the
It depends who's calling them by their names, but yeah.
Right.
I'm already lost.
And they call them turns instead of like
Touch?
magic abilities. They have turns. So
All
you'll
right,
say like, "What's her turn?"
So I think we're gonna do a little. It's spoilery. I only watched the first episode here, so we're going to kind of give a synopsis of how the whole show works, and then I'm going to ask you guys how you felt about how the series went. The first couple of episodes went.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
So basically, it opens with slow motion Victoria, England, and a bunch of random people going about their day in the same London area. A crazy woman, married couple, guy with his grandmother, the whole shebang. And so what you find out at the end of the show, and they show this, is like an alien spaceship comes flying across the sky and sprinkles some kind of dust, fairy dust,
This
whatever
sounds
you
like
want to
the
call
show
it.
Debris on NBC.
And whoever gets hit with these little particles
Whoever gets
later,
touched.
right, later on you find out that those are the ones who gained powers. Like she said, most are women, but some are men. And so right now you're just following these two women who are running an orphanage, trying to find all of the touched in order to prevent them from being attacked or hurt or kidnapped by some evil organization or whatnot. Now, the interesting thing here is somehow everybody forgot what they saw that day. Nobody actually remembers the spaceship except one person.
Yeah.
And that one person is now a crazy mass murderer.
Well, she was crazy before the touched
Right.
event. She was going in a loony bin.
Well, see,
Literally
that's the
the loony bin.
interesting thing about it being set in Victorian England is they threw people in loony bins for lots of reasons. It wasn't necessarily because they were actually crazy.
True.
So I wasn't quite sure if she was being taken there for some slight or whatever, but she actually, because she's crazy, is what I'm sure their show is trying to say, is she remembers the event and believes she saw God that day, and no one else believes her.
Her
So,
name
okay.
is Malady.
Yes, Malady. I thought the actress did a wonderful job with being freaking out of her gourd.
She did an amazing job. Like when she first comes at the theater, like, I mean, her method acting is like, I don't know, it's amazing to me. Like I think that's what really caught me, and why I'm so into the show is just, I think the acting is so well done, because it's not just like, I mean, and she says this, like after each episode, they'll show like some interviews of the main characters. And she says this, and it's like, she's really gotten into character, and it's more about like what she does than what she says necessarily.
James, that actress who plays Malady was in Once Upon a Time as the redhead Merida.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That is a switch up.
So if you guys want to see a contrast on,
the strength of this show so far has definitely been the acting. We'll get to the negatives in a second, but yeah, I'm with Brooks on.
Was there another character that stuck out well for you?
I like Amalia. True, she's kind of the main character.
The main character,
Amalia,
the brunette.
Yeah, she's kind of the main character. She's, I would say, like, the enemy of Malady. It turns out they have some history. I think that's episode 2. Turns out they have some history together that we still don't know about. But she's kind of the main one. I don't think she's like leading the orphanage per se, but she's leading like
the mission,
the rescue effort.
Yeah, she's definitely leading the rescue effort to get the touch there. But then there's a secret mission that we don't really know about yet. There's some other mission, and they allude to it a couple of times, and they allude to it really in the episode 2, and then in episode 3, I think it's like showing that she's not who we think she is necessarily. Or that doesn't show it, but it kind of like alludes to it, that maybe there's a lot more to Amalia than we think. It's not that she's just this like do-gooder that's trying to get all of the touch so other people, because the other thing is like people are trying to, like you said, kidnap the touched and like perform lobotomies on them. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And so she is doing that, but there's a secret mission behind it all. And like people are kind of starting to like realize that by episode 3.
Yeah, my favorite scene with her was the one in the carriage with the I wanted to say Lizard King. It's the Beggar King. Yeah. So that's a great little scene right there. Where, especially at the end, where he threatens her with the razor blade, and she's just like unfazed.
She takes it, puts it against her face, and she's like, "This isn't my face."
Like I was like, "What? What does that mean? I want to know what that means."
Yeah, I liked her in the opera when that whole that noble government guy, I forgot his name. You know, the Lord dude. Extremely racist and sexist.
Lord Mason.
Yes, that conversation they had, to me, was very well written and very well acted.
Yeah, about employee versus employed.
Employee versus employee. Yeah. Makes sense even to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so what do you guys think of the overall concept and how they're handling the superpowers or abilities or whatever? Do you guys think that it's an interesting setup for? I mean, in a reality, it's like an X-Men, superhero kind of show that we're kind of in the big peak of around here, but it's a different setup. Does it feel like it's working for you that way?
I think for me and Mike, I know Mike, you've seen all 3 episodes, so I've only seen the first one, and I have problems with this show just on the fundamental construct on how the plot is being shown right now, episode 1, and I hope it gets better episode 2 and 3.
It does.
I like the acting, and I love. We didn't even talk about Pennis, the redhead, the mathematician, the inventor. I loved her character. Every scene she was in. Even the Black Doctor healer, I liked him too a little bit for a little bit that he's shown. I didn't like a lot of the rest of the stuff in the first episode.
Really? I thought it was so well done.
I thought it was okay for.
The plot was. I don't know.
The pilot was, again, this could be the issue with having a pilot. It's only 60 minutes. There was so much story thrown at you. It's so many characters. Like they were doing world building, but instead of across an entire season 1, they were doing it in that 1 60-minute block.
You have to really keep up and pay attention. That's for sure. Like
my head was spinning.
Yeah, I think I've watched not every episode twice, but I definitely watched the first episode twice because my boyfriend kept falling asleep during it. So we watched it again, but it helped because I was like, after I watched episode 2, then went back and watched episode 1 and picked up more things. And the other thing that I think is really clever is they'll say things that seem really offhanded, but actually mean something. So in the very first episode, the carriage scene with the Beggar King and Amalia, the carriage stops and they have whatever his name is, that big beast guy that works for the Beggar King, and the Beggar King comes in and he's like, "Oh, sorry about a stench. I can't get him in water." Or I can't get him in a bath or something like that, right? So then you go to episode 3 and you find out what that actually means. And it's a huge plot in episode 3, but it's an offhanded comment in episode 1. And so that part is really interesting to me because little things are carried over and you really have to pay attention. And there's a lot of detail. And that's the part to me that I find so interesting is all these little details, all these offhanded comments. That's why I kind of wonder where the Beggar King puts the knife up to Amalia and she says it's not my face or something. I'm like, I wonder if that means something because even Malady says oh, you shed your skin.
I watched it with my son once and I was like, oh, I wonder, I can watch this with the rest of the family. So the second time we watched it with the rest of the family and I sat there going, oh my gosh, I get it now. So there's a lot of little stuff in there. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but the pilot wasn't the greatest, but it starts to pick up by episode 3, it starts to get going really good. And Brooksy was right. Some of the references will carry over and without spoiling, it's really well done how they pick up on that reference.
All right. So I think this is an interesting show. I think we should, after we've watched all of the episodes, we should come back to it and have another chat because I liked it. I thought it was good enough to continue watching, and I'm gonna go through with it.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah.
I'm on the strength of you guys that it gets better. So, and my wife is already on episode 2. She couldn't wait for me to make up my mind if I wanted to continue or not. So she's already on.
She moved on past it. All right.
I'm super, super into it. So we got to come back to it.
There you go. It's settled in.
Awesome. Settled in. All right. So everybody, when we come back, we are going to be talking Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Test your might.
Welcome back, everybody. Here, the Hero Speak crew is going to talk about the 1995 Mortal Kombat and does it hold up?
Hold! No, he does not look good. He's starting to wobble heavily now.
So we're going to start there. Then we're going to go into the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, see how well we like that. And then at the very end, we're going to do a Mortal Kombat, and we're going to have them fight it out to see what was the best battle in either of the movies. So we're going to do that at the end. So stay around. So let's start with 1995's Mortal Kombat. Now, who wants to start here? Because, I mean, this movie's been around for a while, and my first impression from watching this is its music and nostalgia that keep me thinking that how much I loved this movie. But actually watching it hurt quite a bit. It's like when you watch something, an old cartoon from your childhood, and you go, ooh, that wasn't quite as good as I remember. Now, this thing came out the year I graduated high school. So, we've come a long way in a lot of things. So I know one person on this podcast claimed to know everything about this movie, and I'm assuming that's because he loved it, and that's James, who claimed he could quote the entire movie.
Did say that.
I did say that, and yes, I did see this movie many times.
All right, James, on your rewatch, does it hold up?
Yeah, don't worry, I got your back. I've seen it like 50
All right,
times.
when you say hold up, let's just be clear. We're not saying does it hold up to current technology in movies, like whether it's
No,
CGI.
not CGI. There's a lot of
whether I
different
could
reasons why a movie can be good.
Okay. Yes, I think this movie still holds up for the sheer, the concentration portion of what the movie's about. It's an action comedy movie based on a video game, and I think it still holds up when you just look at it from that point of view. I still find it very enjoyable. I have no shame in saying that. I like from the stuff like the musical score still hits me every single time I watch it. Some cheesy lines I still laugh at, knowing that it's still ridiculous 25, plus years later. The fight choreography for its time was, a little above average. Now it's maybe subpar.
You guys weren't watching Jackie Chan movies then, were you?
No.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? Like, yeah.
I said it was a little bit above average back then. Now it's very subpar.
It wasn't
Garbage.
The first movie, 1995, that you and I went to the movie theater to watch.
You're talking about the fight. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but like the fight scenes weren't above average. Like, how are they above average? Like,
Luke Cage fight with Sub-Zero.
I'll tell you what.
Very well.
They were like Plan B, real kung fu movie fight scenes. Like they weren't.
In 95, other than Van Damme, at that point, Van Damme was already over the hill. It's really just Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen.
I'm saying, like,
and
but we saw those fight scenes already.
Yeah,
like,
those were
better fight scenes.
All right, so here's a category: superb fight scenes. Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Jackie Chan. Above average, Mortal Kombat. Average, all of the Hollywood movies that were coming out at that time. That were like,
I'm gonna put Mortal Kombat there.
Better than 1994 Street Fighter. That's for damn sure.
Yes, and that was a Hollywood movie.
I'll give you that, but
that was a Hollywood average movie of action stars.
And that one starred Van Damme. So
no.
At the bottom of his, he was already at the bottom of his career.
But you'd have to look at the top of the Van Damme ladder, which is the blood sport level, where the fight scenes were 10 times better.
Which is the 80s. Yeah. So let me just finish my take.
Sorry, I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, my hot take on is I think this movie still stands up today in 2021. The one thing that we didn't even talk about, which I can't wait to talk about in this movie, was the story plot was generic but was cohesive from the beginning of the movie to the end. It made sense.
The first one?
If I watch it now, the first one.
Yeah.
So watching it now is easily followed. It's a digestible plot. Doesn't require much to think about. It's very simple. You watch it. This part makes sense. Oh, this character makes sense. That makes sense. You laugh at some of the execution with the CGI, which is doesn't hold up to today's term, but it made sense as a movie in 1995 and even now 2021.
Yeah, the writers for that movie knew how to write a start to finish product.
Yeah, and you could definitely tell like Chris Lambert was probably the only major actor in that movie. Highlander, and he was getting a paycheck then, and at least he took the role of Raiden and was trying to make it serious, but then you as like even as a teenager, I looked at him like, all right, he's definitely like overdoing the acting for Raiden. So that's my hot take.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm with you there.
Yeah.
So
Mike,
I think it still holds up. Like I've watched it a lot of times too over the years, and I watched it twice just last week. because I watched it for the pod, and then I had thrown it on again, but I kind of fell asleep towards the end because it was late. But yeah, like as just a corny video game action movie, I enjoy it. Like I said, compared to 94 Street Fighter, that movie is complete trash. You know, I don't know what they were thinking. And poor Raul Julia, his final film.
His final film.
is garbage. So, I enjoy the fight scenes in this movie, like with Liu Kang and Reptile. That fight scene I thought was great. I'm not a big fan of the Sonya character in that movie, though. Her fight.
That's the blonde chick.
Yeah, but every single version of her has been terrible. Every version of her has been terrible.
Like her fight scenes were like,
yeah,
the worst.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I was
saying.
People are afraid to hire a female trained fighter in these movies. They don't.
That's what I was saying. Like those fight scenes were not like.
Yeah, she did a leg lock with her like ankles.
Yeah,
they were not super epic.
Leg lock with her ankles.
And Johnny Cage was corny, but it was all right. For the time, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah, Johnny Cage fight with Sub-Zero. That
was with Scorpion. With Scorpion, that was a good fight scene as well. So I don't know. For me,
I don't know if you guys rewatched this or if you're going by memory.
No,
I'm rewatching it right now as we're talking.
I rewatched it
to remind myself of the scenes.
And I rewatched Annihilation.
Shang Tsung, hold on, much better villain.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Fighter.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, he was actually his fight scene in the beginning, opening intro from memory
it's
when he's
terrible.
fighting Liu Kang's brother.
It's terrible.
It's terrible because his brother didn't show any will to fight. But if you watch Shang Tsung, the threat.
It's terrible.
No, I disagree with you wholeheartedly.
It's terrible.
Wholeheartedly. Shang Tsung's fight
go
scene.
ahead.
So I'm going to say that
Shang Tsung's fight scene what?
In the first movie.
In the 95 movie?
Yes.
No, I think that was pretty bad.
You about to celebrate it?
I'm saying it was very good intro with him.
It
made you think this guy could really fight, and you have to be fearful of Shang Tsung.
I
didn't get that. I didn't get that from the opening scene. I got it from the final fight with Liu Kang.
Oh,
there's a difference.
Yeah, definitely.
So
okay, you guys definitely did not rewatch that.
Yeah, let me just say though, I also watched Annihilation last week for some stupid reason.
No,
and
that
one definitely does not hold up. They flipped half the cast. Half the cast didn't show up for the sequel.
Cast was horrible on that.
They killed Johnny Cage in the first minute, and oh my god, I don't know what they were smoking when they wrote this movie, but oh man, I want some of that.
Cocaine.
They even weren't smoking enough of it.
Something. Man.
Keith, does it hold up?
No.
Why do you say no?
I feel like to say that it holds up is to have somebody else watch it who never watched it before, and then have that discussion. But me watching the 95 version again, although I actually think, like James said, it's an entertaining movie. It's watchable, but I find myself looking directly at the flaws. They jump out to me. The CGI that I know now. Yes. It's too distracting. Because I know that if we were in an environment where we've gotten better digital visual products for the last 25 years.
But I think that's unfair.
I can't unknow it. I can't.
It's like watching E.T. 1982 E.T. and then you're looking like, man,
what
this
you're
puppet.
He holds up. That movie was doo-doo.
Yeah, exactly. E.T. still holds up though.
Yeah.
The special effects don't come up in E.T. there's I'm not looking at them oh my god, those are stick figures. It doesn't come up the same way. I know it's an old movie. You look at the movie, you know it's an old movie, but you're still touched by the story. like, oh, like you still might feel some type of way.
So the story compensated for
you
the
might
terrible
feel
ET
some type of
alien
way, seeing
prosthetics.
his finger light up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you still get the feels when you see the bike take off and fly across the moon. Like it doesn't look odd. It doesn't.
They didn't try to make
it doesn't look
do
like,
a flip
oh my
kick.
God, like look at that CGI.
Look, there's certain directors, like Lucas, Spielberg, James Cameron. When you watch a movie of theirs from the 80s, like if you watch Empire of course holds up, because you watch it and you compare and you go, man, Lucas took his time. He didn't have.
He used a lot of practical effects.
Yeah, he didn't have the technology, but he did. He
Empire wasn't directed by Lucas.
It was Kasdan.
You're right. But when it came to I know.
Skywalker
Ranch and those guys, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
they cared about the output.
Yeah, there's a difference. Yeah.
I never saw the movie before. I watched it literally right before this podcast because I just didn't want Mike to yell at me again.
Wait, 95 Mortal Kombat?
You watched the 95 one?
I thought James said you guys went to see it.
No,
him and Keith.
Keith. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I thought I heard wrong. Okay.
And Sean.
Yeah.
And Sean. And Jai.
And Jai.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was still out in Pasadena, a junior in high school in 1995. Definitely Mortal Kombat was not on my radar to watch. So, I watched it right before the podcast, and I was like, I can't believe that they remade this. Like it's so bad. Why would you remake it? And I don't have any nostalgia attached to it. So maybe if I had some nostalgia attached to it, like it would be better or something. But I was like, the one thing I will say is though, like I could follow
Brooks
this
is
plot.
being my real
Hold on, Brooks. You got a key thing. Key nugget you about to drop.
I could follow this plot in the one that just came out. I could not follow. I was like, I don't understand what's happening. I can't figure it out. Like that one, I don't even know. I kept like losing interest. I fell asleep twice during the movie. Like I couldn't get through it. But this one, like just the fight scene, or the first one, I should say, the fight scenes were so bad. And like at one point,
I don't know what movie
comes
James
out
was
of
watching.
someone, and
The same one I was sitting next to you watching.
Bad.
This last night, and number one, the opening of this comparatively, this movie is all attitude, right? It has the fire and the logo and the music hits, and you're like, yeah, right, and you're pumped.
Yeah.
And then that opening scene is the fight with Liu Kang's brother and Shang Tsung, and Shang Tsung is doing nothing. I'm like, really? He's just like,
he's blocking kata.
That's it. Like that was the whole fight. Is like two blocks and a hit, and then he stares at the screen. Now the actor
soul belongs to me.
The actor drove Shang Tsung's actor. I have it down. Why can't I find it? Cary Hiroyuki Kagawa.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So he for me made that movie because his facial acting and his acting as Shang Tsung was great.
Yeah.
He drove the entire movie, but his fight both, because I was like, okay, at the end of the movie it's going to be a great battle, and I'm like, what happened to the great battle? Where did it go? Like every time I got to a fight, I just felt myself going, where did all the great fights that I remember go? Like they disappeared into the ether or something. Like, let's talk about your favorite one, the Scorpion and Johnny Cage battle. The opening of that, it looks cool, get over here. But then you remember that the thing in his hand was like alive, and it was chomping, and it was weaving through trees, and then it hits a tree and splatters,
and then it gets stuck.
And then no, it splatters, and then he can't do anything with it. He has to retract it, and that's it. That's it, all of that. And then the fight's pretty good. And then at the end,
the fight on the bridge is very well done, though. There was a lot of
fight on the bridge is pretty good. And then the ending of it, he gets.
He just said it. The fight on the bridge is very good. You heard what Chris said.
But
Let it go,
you
James.
have to give the entire fight here, James, where at the end he finds a shield and he blocks a fire blast, and then he cuts Scorpion 3 times and he explodes. Like,
Yeah,
what?
that didn't make sense at all. But
And the
It made
Sub-Zero
sense in the video game when they exploded
no,
too.
but that's the thing. They
and
I'm just waiting for it to sink into
and the
James.
Sub-Zero fight, like he threw a bucket of water at Sub-Zero.
That wasn't good. Yeah, Sub-Zero
No.
wasn't good. He got
But-
killed. Yeah, that
but,
part wasn't good.
You know, you're trying to adapt these aspects from the video game, so these movies are made for the video game fans, right?
Correct.
Well,
Based on
okay,
the video
okay.
game. Based on the
get to
video
that.
game.
We will get to that
Yeah.
because this is almost ugh. But so I don't think it holds up. There is something to enjoy about the movie. The attitude is there, the acting, the characters come through. Even without the fights, the characters are fun and interesting, and the plot is simple and direct.
Which makes it hold up. That's my biggest argument with you guys is whether it holds up or not. And
But
the
the question-
biggest crutch that you guys have is the CGI.
No, I don't
Which I
care about
can't.
the CGI.
No,
I don't
it's
care
not
that
just the CGI.
I don't care that Goro is giant
James, the whole vibe, bro.
the thing that I want to hold up is the fight. If I go back and watch any Jackie Chan movie in his entire career, every fight that man does holds up. But I
I'll
watched
tell you
this
what.
entire movie that should be all about the fights. Johnny Cage being funny and a fun character is great, but he needs to have a better than running away from Goro and kicking him off a cliff. Like, that's not fun the second time I watch it. So I was going through it tonight because I was trying to remember all the fights. And my son looks up at the TV and he starts laughing his ass off. And he goes, stop that. Rewind. I have to show my friend. He calls his friend in. And we watch the Sub-Zero fight. And they are laughing at it the entire time.
Sub-Zero and Liu Kang?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
I can see
ridiculous.
James's heart breaking. I can see it.
No, it's a scene where he looks like he's kind of no. There's a scene where he looks like he's kind of winding his hips, like he's at a reggae dancehall party, and I'm like, yeah. On second viewing now, it looks like, all
And they kind of
You and James, you mean 102nd viewing? What are you talking about?
So anyway, I was close to saying it held up, but I don't think overall, I don't think it holds up because I think the fights were just too weak. Everything else, when we compare the two movies, you can say this has a lot better of X, Y, and Z than the new one, but I don't think the fights are part of that. And I think for Mortal Kombat, it is the most important thing for me.
It's a nostalgia massage.
It
holds up for me. It holds up for me.
All right.
The story and the music still holds up.
James, I'm going to give you the last word. Go
if
ahead.
you're new to that movie and you watch it today, that you will have, like, the average person will have the reaction that Chris's son had.
Well, Brooks, you just watched it for the first time. What's your final reaction? Forget about me.
Do.
Exactly, like, bro, like it's.
But then
it's
she's gonna say all
nostalgia.
of them are doo-doo though, so that doesn't.
It's nostalgia
really count.
driving. It's nostalgia driving you.
She said all of them are doo-doo, so that doesn't really matter.
I
No,
mean,
see,
they are all
I
doo
think
though.
I think
But
what
they're
you need
not
to
good
do,
movies. They're not good.
what you need to do for like a real test for just for Mortal Kombat is you get a fan of the games to watch these for the first time and
It's
say,
tough.
Who,
but
a
yeah.
fan
Well,
of the
what do you
games who
think?
hasn't seen the movies.
Okay,
That's what I
so
mean, right? Watch it for the first time and say, what did you think? You know?
Yeah.
all right.
that's-
So on that note, as we move to the next section, so it's 3-2. It didn't hold up by vote of the Heroes Peak podcast. Sorry.
I demand a recount. You
You
guys changed the rules on me, Georgia.
So
I feel much better now.
all right, so we're gonna do a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk Mortal Kombat 2021.
I need to call
James has to go
Giuliani.
cry.
I need to call Giuliani. Give me my evidence of how this movie held up.
All right, we're back for Mortal Kombat 2021, and this
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is that why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
Movie for this conversation, I decided that I didn't know. I haven't played the video game since like 1998, so I thought it might be a good thing to go look at what the lore is. Maybe I was missing something when I was watching this or the old 95. I was like, which one gets closer to the MK lore, so I could maybe understand what an MK fan might be looking for. And goddamn, neither of these things are anywhere near what the lore of Mortal Kombat actually is, which is a very confusing, very winding road. But technically, 95 is slightly closer, only because
I was
there's
waiting.
This Cole character does not exist anywhere in the entire.
And they actually have a
Mortal
tournament
Kombat
in the first movie. A tournament.
That's right. So basically, from what I can tell, the important part is that Liu Kang is the main character because he is the victor of the first three that we start playing in the video game of the first three Mortal Kombats, the
Mortal Kombat
competition.
editions,
Yeah.
Although Kung Lao was the winner prior to.
He was the winner. Then he got killed by Goro. Then Goro won like 9, and then Raiden finds Liu Kang, and Liu Kang is basically the linchpin to this entire thing. So in the 95 movie, hey, let's center Liu Kang. Yeah, we'll have Johnny Cage. We'll have what's her name? Sonya. And we'll have Raiden, and that's our crew, and we'll go from there. But for some reason, this new movie decided that they were going to do some weird switching up stuff. So the movie, what I found interesting, let's talk about the first 10 minutes. I really want to talk about the first 10 minutes of this movie because I thought when I saw that 10 minutes, I was like, this is the movie I want. It's a great movie. It's got 2 great actors doing a great martial arts scene in an interesting setting. Where does this go from here? And then the movie kicked me in the nuts after that 10 minutes. So can we just talk about that first 10 minutes? And that was, let's talk about
the actor Joe
Taslim as Sub-Zero and Hiroyuki Sadanya as Scorpion.
There's no such thing as a free lunch. We should have been very disturbed that we got that first free 7 minutes.
There you go. They knew that you're saying they knew this was the best of the movie. Because
it would be unassuming because this is this is the first 7 minutes of the movie. Like they're giving us something for free. Like, oh my God. And then you watch it and like, oh, it's so riveting. But that was easy for them to give for free. Because like they had to know the rest of the movie was trash.
And we got Cole.
Yeah.
Before
we leave the intro, Chris, something that I thought about last couple of days after watching it. So Mortal Kombat itself spans beyond just these movies. There's like the video games, then there's like the animated series and
I've watched a couple of the animated movies.
Did you see the recent one this past summer with Scorpion?
The Sub-Zero and Scorpion
Correct.
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
what
good.
I think, this is my theory, is they already had filmed this movie, had a script, and they saw the fans' reaction to Scorpion and Sub-Zero plot in the animated movies, and they filmed this standalone portion.
And I would have watched that movie
based on the animate. And if you watch some of the fight sequences, it looked like it was taken from the cartoon movie. And then they're like, all right, we kind of have the movie already now. Let's change a little bit of the plot.
James made a great point and makes me wonder if they did some rewrites and reshoots and said, I'm starting to wonder if Cole originally was supposed to become Scorpion.
Yeah, I don't know, because I couldn't find anything that
no, but listen, hear me out. So imagine they didn't have that first 7 minutes, and at the end you don't have Scorpion coming back, and that's a rewrite and a reshoot. Originally you have Cole destined to become Scorpion because he's of the lineage.
That's his hidden quirk or whatever.
He's handed the dagger.
Quirk.
Right.
The only thing is, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero are like supposedly two ancient figures.
No, I
Yeah.
know that. I know
Like
that. But
so,
I'm
that would
wondering
have been
now.
a little bit hard to put on Cole. Like I don't see Cole.
Yeah, so
having
it probably
some-
didn't work. I wonder what they could have done because Raiden hands him the dagger and says, you're part of the line. So I'm wondering if he was supposed to become it, or who knows. But
maybe possessed by
Scorpion's ghost.
He was
Yeah, something
supposed
like
to have
that.
possessed by the spirit
But
of.
what turned out was he
Mhm.
got, instead of becoming Scorpion, he got some shitty armor.
What was that? What
looked
was
like-
that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even
I
know
have
what
no
the power
idea.
was.
What's the power? Like
It looked
Power
like
to take blows.
It
Like,
looked like-
it wasn't redirecting the blows back. It
No,
was just
that's the thing.
absorbing
I
it.
thought it was like Wakandan armor for a second. It would absorb the energy and he'd blast it out or something. But I don't think he even did
nothing.
that.
It did nothing.
It did nothing. And it only covered his chest. Didn't cover his head. The
Right.
What's
lower
the
limbs.
full armor?
Yeah, I was waiting for
Like,
full
like-
armor or something.
I don't
A
know.
weapon.
I was just gonna
I too
slap
thought he
you
was
to
gonna
death.
I too thought he was going to become Scorpion when I saw the armor. I'm like, oh, they're going to make him Scorpion because
Yeah.
he's part of the line. But then they like chickened out and he was just some dude with a vest.
Which I
Right.
think was what the original script was, to feature him as a new character that might be in a video game. And like, I don't know. But when I saw that 7 minutes, I was like, wait a minute. This
Yo,
was
I tell
an
you-
add-on. Feels like it was an add-on after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
okay. So go ahead, Mike.
If they bring Cole into a game, I'm never choosing that character.
Turn the armor on.
So, all right. So let's go. So the next thing we get is we actually get our introduction to Cole as a very crappy B MMA fighter. I don't know why. Like Mortal Kombat, this is another thing. Like Mortal Kombat is supposed to be the best fighters in the world. And so basing your story around a crappy B fighter that you're hoping is going to get better, like just it didn't work for me.
I thought they're going to give us the angle of
Can you-
he starts off terrible, and then by the movie's fight, his true potential is revealed. Like one of those type of things.
Yeah,
like
That's what
typical-
they're trying to do. Because
typical
even his daughter
True
was like,
potential is
Yeah, his daughter was
future
coaching him.
potential kind of thing. Yeah.
Honestly, they got me off of my game plan with that 7 minutes. I saw the trailer. I was cool. I was like, okay, like this is gonna be a Mortal Kombat movie. Like I didn't trick myself into expecting anything more than what I got from the 95 movie, which was enjoyable, but I enjoy it for the same reason I enjoy Michael Bay movies. Like, okay,
Right.
like the fight scenes, like there's gonna be some gore, like some blood. Blood coming out of a guy who spent 5,000 years in hell, though, I found that a little kind of like hard to believe. But but that's neither here nor there. But so then they throw out the 7 minutes, and I'm like, oh, so it's not the original, it's not like a Mortal Kombat movie. They've actually provided some depth. It looks like it's gonna be some depth in this. It's gonna be a for real movie, like, oh, they finally got the cheat code. I was the cheat code. They got the cheat code all right. They found out how to cheat. Like that's exactly what it was.
So when did that turn? Did that turn when you first saw Cole, this character?
No,
Cole
it turned
introduced?
immediately after those 7 minutes. Like
Right.
the next, the following scene just started with the corniness.
Yeah, was
like
Cole
it
getting beat in the
didn't
ring,
even wait. It didn't even wait. It just immediately started
and
with
then
the
Jack
corniness.
shows up with his regular human arms.
Those little nubby arms on Jack.
Oh,
all right.
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay, Brooksy, what did you think of Cole and his family and that whole setup with Jackson and them trying to protect him for whatever reason and searching for
His wife.
powers? Like, what did you think of the setup of this
Yeah.
movie? You said it was confusing.
Yeah, I mean,
agree,
I really
but-
just didn't get it. Like, I agree with Keith. The first 7 minutes, I was like, oh, this is going to be really good. I got some like Kill Bill vibes a little
Yes!
bit. I was like,
Yes.
this is going to be great. And then I was like, wait, why are we in some like trailer park watching this dude get his ass kicked? Like, where did we go?
Yeah.
Like, it was really, that leap was like too much for me. I
That's
was like,
funny.
let me keep trying. And then he had this like mark and they were protecting him. But from what I never got that, and I was like, maybe I need to watch know the video game to understand it. I don't know. Like
Nope,
that doesn't help.
That wouldn't help.
Okay.
If someone said the family,
it'll only make you more frustrated.
someone said the family, the mom and the daughter in this movie was like the humans in the Kong versus Godzilla movie. Like they were unnecessary and distracting.
They were only there so Cole could get angry and get his vest. Okay. So for me, I thought the whole training and searching for their superpower was a complete waste of story time. Like it
reminded me of Animality in the Annihilation movie.
No, but this one was worse because you introduced some major characters in this. You introduced Raiden, Kung Lao,
and Liu Kang.
Kano. You already had all Liu Kang. Sorry, thank you. So to me,
what's the guy with the eye beam?
Kano. Yeah. So it's the whole training moment isn't as terrible because you've got all these fighters in one area. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh shit, this is where the tournament's going to be held because it looks like a battle arena, like the old style battle arena, but they're practicing in the arena to simulate the real fighting that you're going to have to do. So I was still paying attention to this montage training, as stupid as it was, because I thought this is going to lead up to that third act where all of the evils and they're all there and they got to go through round by round and the elder gods are going to show up for the final match. Dude, I was like, and then the final match is really going to be Scorpion and Sub-Zero because they hold some link to some shit that I was just making up in my head. Like I was making up storylines as I was watching this movie to make what I was watching better.
Exactly. All right.
The fight scene with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I mean, where Scorpion finally appears to fight Sub-Zero
in the MMA ring, the one in the MMA
in the frozen MMA ring, the frozen steel cage match that they put on for us. Like, I felt like it wanted to be better than it was. Like it really, the scene really wanted to be better than it was. Like,
and I didn't like the fact that it was 2-on-1 either.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's a one.
And I didn't like the fact that it was 2-on-1 and they still were losing.
Yeah, that I like. I mean, shout out to Sub-Zero and the actor who played Sub-Zero because I've seen him in the show The Warrior, and he's obviously this guy is really trained, but he's fearful, menacing. Like he just looked like this dude was hard to beat in a video game fashion. But I thought Scorpion would level it out. Like, Cole, you take care of your family and you go back to the temple. This is going to be a model fight.
This is mine. This is my path.
I'll take care
this
of
is what I've been waiting for.
For me, so Liu Kang was a huge disappointment in this movie.
Oh,
yes.
Yes. Definitely.
Something. I mean, he looked the part. Hold on.
Yeah,
honestly, I think he looked better than a 95 Liu Kang.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So I think I do love the 95 Liu Kang. I think he was one of the best parts of that movie.
Yeah,
the 95.
This guy looked physical.
Oh, he looks great.
Looked better. So I thought this guy's gonna be kicking ass too, but he's so unsure of himself.
He was getting beat by Cabal.
Yeah, I mean, Kung Lao was okay at points, and
he got the best kill. Kung Lao got the best kill.
Mm-hmm.
But they also got killed the worst way.
Right.
He did nothing. He just stood there and got his soul sucked.
Just stood there.
No,
like usually Shang Tsung would have to beat you to the point where you
everybody just stood there.
Yeah, everybody just stood there.
Everybody stood there and watched him slowly get executed.
They're all like, no.
I think Cole was holding Liu Kang back. Like he was holding him back.
Oh, Cabal was. It was Cabal. Yeah.
It was Cabal, my bad.
They were videotaping it. Everybody was videotaping it like he was George Floyd.
Oh no.
Okay. Wow. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Quick. I have a list of the characters that appeared in these movies, and you're gonna tell me whether the 95 would win the fight or whether the 2021 one would win the fight.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm already outnumbered.
So Liu Kang. Liu Kang.
Definitely 95.
Does the 95 win or 21 win? Liu Kang.
95 would win because he's more confident.
Liu Kang?
Yeah.
95 would win. Although the 2021 one looks a little bit more like Bruce Lee.
He had the full dragon. That was cool.
Yeah, that was
Full
cool.
dragon. Do you see his damn muscles? The dude looked ripped. Like he looked like Bruce Lee. Like
he looked great, but he was
there
getting
was one
his butt
scene that
kicked.
he did like a
No,
flexion type
but he
to it,
looks like he would blow a 3-1 lead. He wasn't confident.
I think he already did.
All right.
Who's
So
next?
since there's no Cole, but there's also no Johnny Cage in this one. So who's going to win between Cole 2021 and Johnny Cage 1995?
Yeah, I'll say Colt 21.
Colt 2021. I mean, the armor thing.
Yeah, can't beat that
definitely
armor.
the thing.
Yeah, the punching absorbing armor can't beat that.
I mean,
All right.
it's like he has Johnny Cage has, like he has to fight him.
Johnny Cage would do the ball punching move of his, and then there's no
Or maybe
armor
he
down
might-
there. There's
Or
no
maybe
armor
he
down
might
there.
just punch him in the face.
And then leave an autograph.
Maybe
Of
just
Johnny.
If Cole doesn't have his daughter to tell him to use the uppercut, then is he going to
Yeah, I'm
lose?
going 95 Johnny Cage here.
going 95 Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think Cole just loses.
Yeah.
you want
No
him to-
offense. This is not about the actors, guys. This is about
No,
the
I know,
characters
yeah.
presented.
But what's his powers though? What's Johnny Cage's powers?
Johnny
Yeah.
Cage had his full range.
Yeah, he did.
And-
He's able to do kicks, martial. He's probably the
No,
best
it's
looking
all-
fighter
No,
in
I'm
the
just
95
saying it's
version.
all fisticuffs. He doesn't have any. There's no range.
Yeah,
there's
but,
no-
but this
but
guy
Cole
had no
doesn't
powers
have any of
either.
that.
He just had the
I know, but he has that
gold
armor.
chest.
Like if he can't
And Luke
land
Cage
a
could hit him
blow,
in the balls, do the split kick that he did to Goro.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Okay.
the finishing blow in this.
Yeah, this
You-
guy
you
showed you.
technically
showed
we
you
don't
in
know
an
how
MMA
far
fight.
down the armor goes. That's all I'm
They
saying.
showed you.
We
they
don't
showed you
know
that
where
Cole-
the armor ends.
It's a onesie.
They
It's
showed
a
you that
onesie.
It could be
Cole
an
armor
couldn't even
onesie.
fight
It
against a
could be
regular
an
MMA
armor
fighter.
onesie.
He couldn't
Okay,
even beat a
okay.
regular
All
MMA
right,
fighter.
all right. I'm giving it to
He
Johnny
didn't have
Cage.
the armor then.
All right, so there were two characters that also weren't in the other. So it's going to be the 2021 Melina, the one with the big teeth,
Yeah.
versus the 1995 Katana.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I think
I'm gonna
Melina
say
has
Katana.
this one. I'm saying Melina.
I
Katana
say
was terrible.
Melina.
Melina.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Melina on that one too.
Mm.
She was very vicious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she had some good moves, and
Yeah,
the,
because she was fighting. What's her name?
She
Sonya
fought-
Deville.
Yeah.
she fought Cole and she fought Katana, and it
Oh,
took
yeah,
both
you're
of
right,
them.
you're right. You know what? I take it
All right.
back. I forgot the fight with Cole. She was good in that one. I take it back.
Yeah.
All right.
He beat his ass.
I take it back. Sorry.
All right, Raiden 2021 versus Raiden 1995.
Oh, rated 1995.
He had a lot of personality. He was fun. He was using his powers. I agree.
He did stuff. Like,
He
what
did
did
stuff.
this guy do? Like, this guy,
Nothing.
he had like
terrible.
his powers looked like the CGI of his powers. It looked better. Like, it definitely like it was better.
He made like a little
CGI,
cage or something.
but like he didn't fight. There was no actual aggressive usage of his power.
You know which one is better rated as far as fighting? The Mortal Kombat Annihilation rating.
97 rating.
97 rated was a better
97.
fighter
Yeah.
in a terrible movie, in the worst movie.
But he had to become immortal to do it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's a tough one. Shang Tsung. I thought the Shang Tsung was pretty decent, but I think the 1995 one does a lot more.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm
I
with you
agree
there.
with you, Chris.
Yep.
95.
I don't
Shang
think
Tsung.
his
I feel
fights
like
were
a
great,
lot-
but I think he does more.
Saying a lot more is kind of like subjective, I think, because like that fight scene that he had wasn't impressive.
No, it wasn't. It
Like,
wasn't.
all that slow moving.
You guys are still clowning me about this. I'm telling you, it's basic kata that he mastered and looked
You
reasonable.
he could this 2021 Shang Tsung could beat him out with just the one scene that he had when dude threw his hat and he just went like that. Like the dodge looked so super simple. And he just-
Whatever.
Now, if it was a battle of eyebrows, 1995 would win in a heartbeat. He had great eyebrows.
Yeah, but this
he mastered the scene better.
the backstory of what. Well, let me take that back because there was no backstory. I think the impression I have of the first Shank Tsung to me felt like this guy was more legendary than this new one.
So are we saying 95?
I'm saying 95 Shang Tsung.
Brooksy, do you care?
I can give it up.
All right, nice persuasion worked.
All right, we're
Brooks,
going
wait, hold on.
95.
Brooks didn't say anything.
She said she didn't care.
Oh,
So they didn't care.
It's really a battle of who did less because they
Right.
both did
All right.
anything.
This is a great one. Sonya Blade.
Mm.
I think you have to give it to the new one because the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
the 95 was so bad. So
So bad.
bad.
And it was so. Did anybody else feel like they knew Kano was going to die when you realized like the scene when they realized that like
you can only pass on.
Everybody had a scar but her,
Except for her, and then you could only get it by being passed on.
and you can only
yeah, I knew
Was
that.
I the only one that knew at that moment that Kano was going to die?
Yeah.
Okay. Kano, 95 versus 2021. Kano. I liked Kano in this. I thought he was the
likable.
fun.
He was one of the best characters as far as keeping me entertained in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say
But,
on GP, Kano, 2021.
2021 Kano, I give it to him over the other one.
Yeah, you know why? Because
All right.
95 Kano let himself get choked out with ankles. So that right there.
That counts you
True.
out.
That's true.
That counts you out right there.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So let's do Sub-Zero.
Oh, 21 Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
The dude was OP compared to the other ones.
Way more murderous.
He wasn't doing dirty wine. He wasn't dirty whining.
Yeah, what is this dude was? Why was he all sexy flexy in that first one?
So you know what I thought of though?
His Scorpion.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I want to say the animated movie Scorpion.
I liked the 2021. I wish they had given him more. Just appearing at the end of the movie was a waste of the character and the actor because I thought he was good.
He didn't have enough time to get busy.
I still think they should have let the actor. They should have let Cole get possessed by Scorpion and change the actor.
I definitely agree with you.
And let him become. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's right.
Almost like a Hulk kind of thing.
But then you have to get rid of the whole family thing too.
That's in
yes.
And that would have been such a loss.
Have Scorpion come out and kill the family first.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Now you're getting Zack Snyder dark.
All right.
Then they would have had a purpose.
True.
Did we
I don't know. I'm going with 21 Scorpion
decision?
only because I can't pick the animated version.
21 Scorpion.
Yeah, 21 for me.
I just wish he was harder though.
All right, and last thing, we're gonna go Goro, 2021 Goro, who gets beat by Cole and his wife.
95 for me.
95 Goro, who gets knocked off a cliff.
2021 Goro looks better, but 95 Goro got busy.
Yeah.
Video game Goro still beats them all because they never remade him right.
Yeah, Goro, 95
Goro was all bark, no bite.
Yeah. And 95 Goro acted like the prince he was supposed to be. So
he at least got one kill before the Johnny Cage fight.
Oh no, he got like a dozen. There was a
That's true. The little montage.
He killed like a whole half pound of people. Like what are you talking about? Did this Goro kill anyone?
No.
Did anyone die by Goro's hand?
He goes after Cole. It's the first
They're
thing
like,
he
oh,
does.
Prince Goro. We're so honored.
A lot of pomp and circumstance for somebody who comes
We're
in
so
and gets
honored.
who gets beat up by somebody and their wife.
It was a waste. It was a waste of
it was like they should have had the humans, the Earthrealm fighters defeat a bunch of people and then have to go up against Goro or something. You know?
mean a tournament?
I was just saying, how about they just have a tournament?
That's what I said
that
earlier.
might make it better.
That would have been novel.
Hang on, I better write this down.
Somehow they won They won the last 9 tournaments. So what are we doing now? Like, what's happening?
Tournament.
It's like if the NBA decided instead of having a finals, let's just go play out street ball, and like
the whole idea that Shang Tsung is avoiding having a tournament with these people. Why? He's overconfident that he's gonna win the tournament.
In
in '95 one, at least he's purposely trying to get them to the tournament, so he can beat them. So
he's saying he's breaking rules that we never understood. What rules was he breaking? They never explained that part. They said,
"Well, you're not supposed to fight outside of the tournament."
Yeah, that's kind of the whole thing, right? You're not supposed to kill the fighters before the tournament.
He found a way to break those rules. They said, a loophole that Raiden didn't know.
My only hope is this was some kind of prequel, and in the next one we actually get a tournament. So,
I don't know if I'm.
You hope too high.
Excited.
Oddly enough, I'm hoping. It was not a great movie, but I'm actually looking forward to the second iteration. If they, I hope that there's a second iteration.
I want a prequel.
I could.
So this is the prequel. This one.
No. I want a Scorpion Sub-Zero. prequel.
Okay, yeah.
I'm with Chris on that one. Yes.
Yeah. But they ruined that though. They ruined the Sub-Zero, prequel, because they gave us the story. Like, no one else appeared until this guy 5,000 years later.
Yeah, it's true. Scorpion was in
hell. They told us that. So now they can't just give us a prequel off of the same movie. And what can they put into it now? They already told us what had happened.
Well, Sub-Zero said he had finally killed his entire lineage. So that means before that, he was killing more of them.
So you're talking about a pre-5,000 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want Kurosawa samurai movie with those two.
This is not even a movie then with powers.
No.
No, Sub-Zero still has powers.
Sub-Zero has some ice powers, like minimal ice powers.
But he's the only one.
Yeah.
What if he didn't have any powers?
Yeah, I want a dope samurai movie. That's all I want.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I just want the writers from Annihilation to write the sequel to this one. That's
what.
All right,
we're gonna get Chris Terrio on.
We're gonna grade.
You've gone too far. Sorry. No.
We're gonna grade Mortal Kombat 2021. So who wants to go first? Go ahead. Tell me what's your grade. Go ahead.
Let Brooksy go first. She hasn't said much.
I mean, I thought it was garbage. So it's hard to talk about a movie you think is like real garbage. But
I know we talked. Well, we did a whole 4 hours on Snyder Cut. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go D for doo-doo again. I just thought it was like trash. The only reason it doesn't get an F- is because of the first, whatever it was, 7-10 minutes. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that part of it. So that kept it up. But also, my boyfriend wanted me to tell you, because he was very excited about this movie, and he went and watched it with his friends on Friday and then came home like really sad. He was
That's great.
Because he was so excited, and then it just there was not even a tournament in the movie. I don't know.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
What was his grade too after your grade?
He gave it a 73, so like a C, C-.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
73%. Wow. Yeah.
All right. Mike, what's your grade?
Okay, for me, it's going to be a C. There were some good points and bad points, so it kind of averaged out for me. Some of the fight scenes I liked, some I didn't like. Same goes with the characters. Some were okay, and some were just awful. This whole Cole situation was very confusing. And I'm hoping if they do another one, now that we've got all this origin crap out of the way, we can get into some actual tournament stuff and
without Goro, you won't have Goro to fight.
Yeah, but I mean, do we bring Shao Kahn in? Who knows, right? So
right. We'll see. All right, Tracy. Keith, what was your grade?
We'll go C+. I'll give it back its plus. Yeah, it was trash, but I appreciate the visuals. I definitely, I don't know, like I like as a comparison to its earlier predecessors, like which I enjoyed those movies too, as bad as they were, but like it stepped up. It was a step up visually, so I'll give it that.
All right, James, what's your grade?
Before I get to my grade, just real quick, I think real quick. This movie to me definitely improved on the CGI and the fight choreography. Yes, I'm willing to say that for this movie. But it did not improve in the storytelling, the narrative, and in the overall Mortal Kombat lore. Definitely failed at all those things. There's some standouts. Kano, we mentioned. Sub-Zero, definitely. Scorpion. But not enough for me to feel like this movie was a better than average movie. So to me, my grade is a C minus. And like Brooks said, what really saved it to me was the first 7 minutes. And the Sub-Zero, everything that Sub-Zero was in to me was entertaining, and I enjoyed tremendously. And I couldn't live with myself. I gave it a D. Like Eric, who saw it in IMAX, he said it's a D, Dad. But no, I'm not willing to go that low. I think it was a C minus, and I'm okay with that.
All right, James, I need you to stop taking my grades. This is sucks.
Oh my God, we're on a fucking streak. This is not cool, man. We gotta be. Come on.
So like I was trying to figure out if I could give it a D, and I just can't because I liked enough. Like I thought the fight choreography, which is what I go into this for, had it. And like I said, that the opening was just a movie I wanted and I didn't get. So there was this huge disappointment crash coming off that first 7 minutes. And it didn't have the attitude I wanted out of a Mortal Kombat movie. Like the thing I love about 95 is it's just an attitude movie. It feels 1995 in every shape, manner, or form. Every actor and character is pushing it in the same direction.
It may have actually even been a better movie had they not had that 7 minutes at the beginning and just had it be corny from beginning to end. Because then you could understand it and you wouldn't have had that letdown. Like,
yeah,
let it just be a corny Mortal Kombat movie. Like,
or you throw it in.
Have to, like, because now that 7 minutes let me know that you're more intelligent than the rest of the movie. Like,
yeah.
there were people in the room who were smart, and then they dumbed themselves down for the rest of the movie.
Right.
Or what would have been better is you take that 7 minutes, you cut it down to 3 or 4, you put it in the middle of the movie when Raiden's explaining to Cole where he comes from.
Bang! Or maybe even that full 7.
Yep.
And right stab in the middle of the movie.
Mike.
Get me back in it. Like, something to pull me back in.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty awesome. But it goes to a point where I think
that was a great idea, Mike.
This was filmed after the movie was already done.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of making Cole just getting take over by Raiden. Don't have it like his grandfather show up behind him. Like just become Scorpion.
Right.
Like that's it. You are the next version of Scorpion.
I wouldn't have even minded if Cole had died, went down to hell. His ancestor said, "You need to go back. You're now Scorpion."
And sent him back with the Scorpion power. Like,
right.
Yes.
You're undead. You're undead and you're Scorpion.
Right.
Like, Cole and his entire family gets killed by Goro.
Right.
In the second to the opening scene instead of Sub-Zero.
Any moron could use what they gave us and make a better movie. Like
what it feels
anybody.
like. What it feels
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Zack Snyder.
Yo, leave Zack Snyder alone, bro. Like, you got a crush, like Zack Snyder. Like, leave the man alone. Let him.
I'll be interested to see his new zombie movie. I'm excited for that.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
All right.
I know it's gonna be slower than the World War Z zombies. No slow motion zombie catching me.
All right, so everybody, I want to thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Mike, where can everybody find us?
All right. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Heroes Peak. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share our videos. Let people know we're out there. And we want to thank you for that.
Yeah. Comment.
Give
Tell
us
us.
a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us which one holds up better. Do you like the 95 or the 2021 Mortal Kombat? Which one was your favorite?
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, we are going to head out and we will see you next week. Thank you very much for joining us. The Heroes Peak Crew is out.
Good night.